This is the MLW Radio Network.
Welcome everybody to Mind of the Mini, your weekly peek into the world according to former WWE superstar and ECW original, The Blue Meanie. We'll cover wrestling, music, movies, sports, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in The Mind of the Meanie. I'm your temporary tour guide and stepdaddy extraordinaire, Adam Barnard, and he is The Blue Meanie. Meanie, what's on your mind?
Hey, we're recording this, Inside Baseball, recording this September 2nd, 2021, and just got a little bit of a gut punch today. Good friend of mine and the wrestling community, Shannon, a.k.a. Daphne from WCW, has passed away. And probably, every death hits you really hard. But this one, it's not like, you're saying, oh, this one hit me harder than the other. But this one really hit hard. Daphne was a sweetheart, kind soul, sweet soul. And no matter what she was going through, and she had a lot of friends who care and still care and will forever care for her. And, it's just, as a human being, I've had my, issues. Like I said on social media today, I've had my battles, every day I battle depression every day, no matter what. Whether it's growing up asthmatic, growing up with the fact that, I never knew my dad, all that kind of stuff. I had my share of therapy and as a kid in grade school and high school and stuff like that. So my heart goes out to anybody who else is battling with depression. And, I'm very fortunate to have a small circle of friends around me that, inspire me and take care of me and look out for me and make every day makes getting out of bed and put my 2 feet on the floor a little bit easier. And then, with a situation with Daphne where, apparently she's taken her own life, it really hits hard. You just want to reach out and, get a time machine and go back in time and, give that person a hug and say, hey, it'll be all right, But I just want to take a moment, straight off the bat, while, the wound is still fresh, just to say, Daphne, you are loved. You will be missed sorely. And, I wish there, you always think, man, I wish I could have said something to somebody to help them, and sadly, sometimes you find out too late. And, not to, start on a damper of a mood, but, it really hit me hard. And, if you're out there and you're battling and, I feel you. I get it. I'm right there with you. I'm shoulder and shoulder right there with you. Asking for help, saying you need help is not a sign of weakness. No matter what kind of macho bullshit, people try to say, oh, you're weak if you say you need help. You're weak if you're too polite. Yeah, I've had people say that to me. Yeah, you're too polite. That's a sign of weakness. No, it ain't. And, saying, you need help. Saying you need help is not a sign of weakness. So if you're out there and you're battling, just find somebody, find anybody, talk to somebody, talk to anybody, and talk to them. And if they don't want to listen, then get new friends. Fuck them. If this, if you're willing to be there and listen to other people and be there for other people, and they're not willing to be there for you, you need new friends, my friend. So, and Daphne had plenty of friends. Trust me, I wasn't making any assertions to anything. She has, just from the outpouring on social media today, a lot of people love her. A lot of people are hurt, but rest in peace, Daphne. It's a shame. It's a shame.
I appreciate you taking the time to say all that, Meanie. I didn't know Daphne. I'd never met her before. Obviously grew up watching her on television.
Mm-hmm.
The cruiserweight champion on WCW is one of the things that I recall very
awesome.
clearly.
Yeah.
And just I thought she was great. I always enjoyed watching her in the ring. I always enjoyed watching her promos. She was an incredible promo. She was just, it seemed like a really awesome person. That's one thing I really took away from today. In spite of the tragedy, there's just so much fucking love for her. And it made me a little emotional, man. Like, you see that stuff and you often, something I think about all the time is what my impact will be on people's lives, when I'm gone. And because of that, I try to, the kids call it giving people their flowers, so I always in practice in my life with people that I'm close to or people that have made an impact on my life. I always try to make sure I tell them what they mean to me and how important they are and how much they're loved. And I think that's the takeaway that I have today was that Daphne was just incredibly loved by everybody that she interacted with. And it's a shame. And, I don't really have a whole lot of words to say in situations like this, unfortunately, because I think a lot of times people just tend to give platitudes and they say things that necessarily ring hollow. So I tend to just sit back and listen. I'm very, as you know as well, Meanie, we've talked about this, off air, on air. I've had my own struggles with mental health and depression and anxiety. I struggle with it every single day, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just who I am, and it's part of my life. It's part of from things that have happened in my upbringing, and it's a very difficult thing to deal with, but also to be honest with. You and I, we are, as men, we're brought up to believe that asking for help is not masculine, or it's wrong, or whatever it is. And unfortunately, people, both men and women have the same issues with that, and there really isn't anything wrong with asking for help. And it's a shame. I don't really know what else to say. Unfortunately, I wish I did have more, but I do appreciate you taking the time at the beginning of this episode to talk about it. I wanted to make sure we shared this as well at the onset of the show. If you know anyone, or if yourself you're struggling with thoughts of self-harm or suicide or anything else, there's a lot of resources out there that you can utilize. There are a lot of places you can go to talk to somebody. I mean, I tell everybody all the time, my DMs are open for anyone in the pod squad, anyone else who wants to chat. My DMs are open. Talk to me. I'm here. But a really, really great resource as well is the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. You can call 1-800-273-8255. They're a 24-hour service. They are multi-language. They are available at your need. But also, too, I think it's important to ask for help when you need it. And, like I asked you earlier, how are you feeling, Meanie? Are you okay?
Oh, I'm oh yeah, I'm bummed the fuck out. You hear, the last night, you heard the inklings that something was wrong, and then she had posted a message which got shut down. And for whoever shared that video, shame on you, whoever you are. I'm not going to give you oxygen, but shame on whoever shared that.
You should be fucking ashamed of yourself for posting that kind of shit on social media, like taking advantage of somebody who's already in a really fragile state. Yeah. And your first thought is to fucking share that shit on Twitter. Right. Like genuinely, and from the bottom of my heart, go fuck yourself. Yeah. Like, sorry, go ahead. That shit just pisses me off.
Pretty please with sugar on top. Go fuck yourself. Nah, Daphne was awesome, man. She was a cool chick, funny chick, talented. First time I ever talked to her was I was going to bring her in for 3PW when WCW shut down, and for a reason the event got canceled and we never got to hook up. But when from there on, I was like always seeing each other at different shows, different conventions, and always greeted you with a big smile. She lit up the room, and she was ahead of her time. She influenced a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she was. She was awesome. But going YouTube, or I don't know if Peacock is up and about, but
I mean, as much as Peacock can be up and about, but
yeah, search out some Daphne. Let's celebrate her. Like you said, she definitely made her impact on the wrestling business, and a positive impact on the business, and she made a positive impact on everybody that she was involved with. So let's celebrate Shannon. Let's celebrate Daphne. And my heart goes out to her family. Let's respect the family's privacy, but also let them know how much we care. So, yeah.
Well, there's
no way to really put a bow on it, but
I was gonna say, do you have any fun stories about Daphne that you'd like to share, or any
every time I saw her, it was just a big smile, big hug, hello, and hey, how you doing? And we had a lot of mutual friends, and she would hang out in the area sometimes, and it's just a great person, great human, and it's a shame, when people reach that point, because that's the scary thing about depression. You just never know when it's going to happen. One day you're fine, and one day you say fuck it, and that's the scary part.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you never know when you're going to get to a point a point of no return. The darkness can get really dark, man.
Yeah, been there.
I know I've been there. I know you have as well. And it's just, it seems like, it's like quicksand. You just keep falling in that hole. The light just keeps moving farther and farther away. And the next thing you know, you just don't know where to go. And I think that's, like I said, it's really important to have a network of people around you. And like Meanie said, if those people aren't around to support you, then find new friends. You don't deserve to you deserve to feel loved. You deserve to feel important no matter who you are. And no matter where you are in life, you deserve to have someone in your life that cares about you. And I hope that everyone out there knows that.
Yeah.
And again, my best wishes to her family in this incredibly difficult time. And I hope that they are able to find the peace and serenity that they need right now to get through this situation. And yeah, I mean, like Meanie said, go search out some Daphne on the Peacock or on YouTube or anywhere else you can find it, and celebrate an incredible person. And there's really no good way to transition out of this.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure how to pivot, but
how are you, Adam? How are you?
How am I? I'm good, man. I'm doing well. I'm doing really well. I'm glad to be back again this week. I appreciate you guys having me on last week as well. That was a lot of fun doing that three-way dance. It was very good. I know Tony Khan mentioned trios titles, so I figure maybe the three of us have a shot now. You never know. I'm not very athletic, but I'm not athletic, but I can talk. So at least that would help.
I'm not athletic, and I can somewhat talk. So,
dude, I have seen you flip off the top rope, sir. I have seen you do lots of athletic things, definitely more than I would do. But
in the words of Mitch Hedberg, my doctor told me I had athlete's foot, and I went, "That's not my foot, man." That's not my fault. You know.
I love it, man. Mitch Hedberg's fucking hilarious. No, I'm doing well, man. I'm doing really well. I am gearing up for my move back to Pennsylvania. If I'm going to be, or excuse me, back to Philadelphia rather, because I'm in Pittsburgh, but it's really not PA out here. You know, it's just it's Pittsburgh. We'll be back on the 15th of this month, and awesome. I am extremely excited. I guess I know that, you know, this might be a little dated by the time we air this episode, but Hurricane Ida came through your area. And the Vine Expressway was a fucking canal of water. It was 15 foot high over there, man. Did you? So I guess the question is, meaning, did you jump in and swim with the rest of the guys out there, or did you just kind of like walk by and look?
Oh, I admired it from afar. Like the cover in my living room, sitting on the couch. You know, maybe younger Meanie would have done a Meanie salt off the overpass into the Vine Street canal, but yeah, that water does not look. Well, then again, if you want to build your immune system, maybe go for
That's true. It's guys and gals. It's raw fucking sewage in there, man. That's the Schuylkill River and all that shit that's in there in the Delaware, dude. That's literally raw sewage. Like, if you want to get strong and you want to get radioactive, maybe go ahead and dive right in there. But I'm not doing it.
It reminds me of George Carlin. He's like, you know, when we were kids, we swam in the Hudson River. We swam in raw sewage. And guess what? Yep. You know, we turned out fine, you know.
That whole skit, when I said raw sewage, that was the first thing that popped into my head. We were tempered in raw shit. Yeah, dude, it's exactly what I thought about, man. That's amazing.
My everyday life is a George Carlin quote, because I'm always thinking either him or Bill Hicks, you know. So.
Yeah, man. There's always a place to have George Carlin inserted into your life, and this is absolutely one of them. But I know my brother David lives in Quakertown, and his backyard was pretty flooded. He had about an inch of water in his basement. I know friends who live in, you know, Doylestown and Jenkintown and Mullica Hill, and a lot of these places are just, even in Downingtown, where I'm going to be moving to, was just covered in water, which is, I mean, it's unheard of, you know, like those areas. We don't get hit with tornadoes. We don't get hit with big giant floods like that. And it was just destroyed. So I'm glad to hear that the mini castle is fine. Well, that there are no issues there.
Yeah. You know, the Queen Extreme, my good friend Francine, a tornado went right by her house.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I was watching some videos, and, yeah, like there's a tornado that went by her house, and right as I was passing her yard, the funnel cloud went back up into the sky.
Whoa!
Yeah, it was insane to watch, and you know, there's watching some of that tornado footage that happened not too far from here. You know, maybe 20 miles or 15 to 20 miles, you know, north of here, over in Jersey. You know, you saw a tornado go right past the Burlington-Bristol Bridge, which was insane to watch.
Now, I watched that video. I think it was Fox 29 or 6ABC. Did the tornado go through the bridge, or did it go around it? Because you can't really tell from the video, so I wasn't sure if it had actually crossed through the bridge. And then my first thought was, oh fuck, like what now? You know?
Imagine being on the bridge and you're like, oh, it's like that movie,
shit,
like that movie Twister. Here comes a cow. Here comes another cow. I think it's the same cow. Yeah. But no, I think it crossed on the Jersey side. The tornado was definitely on the New Jersey side, and it's bizarre because you know you always hear about tornadoes in like Oklahoma, you know,
right,
and
right.
You know, but there's all that wide open land, and you know, Ida came through, and my thoughts to all our folks affected by Ida as well. I was just in Alaska with Luke Hawks, who is from New Orleans, or as he says, New Orleans, and he's just waiting to find a good time to go back, just so he can assess what's happened to all his belongings. His family's okay, but just gotta get together with the family and see what's going on there and see where he's going to live. It's heartbreaking. It's been a rough couple days.
I was going to get my buddy Kurt lives down there in New Orleans as well. He called. I think he actually texted me like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And he's like, hey, man, I'm out of power. My phone doesn't have a ton of battery. I don't have any Wi-Fi, but I have just a little bit of service. Like, I need to find a hotel. And I'm like, okay, well, what can I do? Where can I look up? He's like, Biloxi, Mississippi. I'm like, holy shit, dude, you're going to drive all the way out there? He's like, there's nowhere to go here. He's like, everything is fucking flooded or the power's out. I don't have any food. Like, I need to get out of here. And I'm trying to find a way out. And it's him and his girlfriend and I guess a couple of their friends they're all in the area. They're trying to get the hell out. And it's crazy, man. It's great. It's not, obviously, we don't want to downplay the situation, but I'm just glad that it's not as bad as Katrina. That was, it could have been immensely worse, but it is still really bad everywhere. So I'm glad, what's that?
I said, it's horrible.
Yeah.
And the fact that it happened on the anniversary of Katrina, or it's like a day after or on the day of Katrina, is just,
it's crazy.
Sadly, coincidental. But yeah, man, and you see some of these smaller towns that got affected, and it's been a crappy couple days between everything. Between Ida, destroying Louisiana, destroying here in Jersey, and then the stuff with Daphne and stuff like that. It's been a rough couple days, but hopefully the people who are affected by this disaster are able to pick up and continue on with their their lives. I don't know if they're going to have to relocate or just rebuild where they are now, and hopefully rebuild stronger and better. But
and that's all we can hope for, man. I mean, it's again, there's no good way to like quantify any of this. It just sucks. It's just, everything has just been the shits recently. But the Pod Squad is here, which is definitely helping. Shout out to the Pod Squad.
What's up, guys?
I'm reading all the comments here. Travis said Jim Molyneux, his roof got fucked up. So we're sorry to hear that. I hope I pronounced his last name right.
Jim Molyneux.
Molyneux.
Yeah, we could pretend he's like French Molyneux,
Molyneux. Yeah, there you go. Get that nice French accent on it. There you go.
That's a shame. I didn't know he was affected. I'm still playing a lot of catch up. My whole couple days have been like thrown off between traveling. Travel out to Alaska. Shout out to Russell Pluro, Alaska, Kevin Matthews, and the local crew of the 907 Wrestling Academy out there in Anchorage, Alaska. They brought me and Nova and a bunch of the boys out for a mini tour, like a 2-day tour of Alaska, Anchorage, Alaska, and Palmer, Alaska. So
nice.
Yeah, it was definitely a bucket list trip, but I'm still feeling the effects of it.
Yeah, I was going to say let's jump into that, because I know the last time we spoke, you were telling me about going to Alaska. Yeah. How are your travels? How long? I know you had a 2-flight movement, right? Like it was 2 flights, or was it, how many flights did you have?
Dude, it was 2 very long flights, and I flew from Philly to Salt Lake, which was 4 hours, and then had like a 2-hour layover. And my second flight was 4 hours and 50 minutes. So 9 hours of flying in a germ tube full of recycled air. And so
anybody have any issues with like masks or anything like that? Or did you have any assholes on the plane that didn't want to wear a mask?
Thankfully, everybody, there's no drama. Thankfully.
Good.
And
that's great, man.
Yeah. And I was kind of like, man, that's a long time. But it seemed all right. I had no issues. I brought my tablet. Well, the good thing, I brought a tablet full of podcasts to listen to, and then turns out they have like a ton of free movies on there. So I was like, oh, well, shit. I'm usually a documentary guy, but hey, I watched some movies. I watched Shawshank Redemption on the way out, and
I mean, I feel like you have to, right? Like if the choice is there, you have to watch that movie.
Yeah. Andy Dufresne crawling through a tube of shit and then just sitting on 2 flights for 9 hours are pretty much one and the same. just full of germs that can make you sick.
I love that flick, man.
Yeah, dude, it's
I love that flick.
It's just it's so pro wrestling, that movie. You know, you get out and you don't you get out of the wrestling business, and a lot of people don't know how to adjust to the outside world. It's
yeah, I've heard pro wrestling and convicts and everything else. I mean, it's when you're in it for a certain amount of time, it's it's what and it's a lot like Michael Corleone. Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. Speaking of that, they pulled me back in. As a side note,
yes.
I finally got to watch, and then we'll get back to Alaska.
Sure.
I finally got to watch the Coppola cut of The Godfather 3.
Oh,
have you seen that yet?
I have not.
Oh man! Now, full disclosure, I know I'm probably going to take heat on Twitter for this, but I really fucking liked the original Godfather 3. Really? I know I'm in the minority. I love that flick. I think it's great. I thought there were parts that I didn't really like, but that's kind of like everything. Some things are slower and some things are better, but
yeah,
I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed that flick, but yeah, so Coppola and I think Mario Puzo, they had this different idea for The Godfather 3. They wanted it to be like the death of Michael Corleone. It was supposed to be like a epilogue, like the butt end of the story.
Yeah.
And I guess they, obviously, like with everybody else, they weren't happy with how the final cut came out. So I don't know how long it took, but they recut the entire movie and added shit and moved scenes around, and like it's really fucking good. Like if you haven't had a chance to go and watch it. I think it's like 2.5 hours long. It's just about as long as the original movie, but man, it's just so much. I feel like there is the story was told in a much better way. I watch it the way it's called The Godfather Coda, Death of Michael Corleone, and it's just, I mean, I'm a sucker for all of that like mafia Vatican story as well, because a lot of that shit really happened, man.
Yeah,
and the death of JP1, and the Vatican banker hanging from the overpass, like all that shit really happened, and it's just a wow. I thought it was fantastic. So if you haven't had a chance to watch it,
I'll definitely have to check it out. There's also a version of The Godfather that's out there where somebody went and took the time to re-edit all the Godfather movies in chronological order.
Whoa!
Where all the
where
all the flashback scenes are placed in there, so you're watching from the beginning all the way up through. Wow. Instead of watching a regular movie and seeing all the flashbacks, they take all the flashbacks and front load the movie with it, and then you're watching it in chronological order, which is pretty cool.
That is pretty rad, man. Yeah, I mean, the Godfather's just they're all classics, and it's just I would sit through that for sure. But what it sounds like you didn't want to sit through was another 9.5 hour flight to Alaska. God. So tell me about when you land in Alaska. What's it like? Do you really have like 12 hours or 24 hours of sunlight while you're up there? Like what's the weather like in Alaska?
Shout out to JT Cage, who's out there. Local, he's a wrestler who moved up there, started a wrestling school, and runs the 907 Wrestling Academy, and he partners with Kevin Matthews from WrestlePro, which makes WrestlePro Alaska. If I was to describe Anchorage in one word, it's pretty much like being in Seattle. Kind of like a little chilly, a little rainy. Really cool. The season we went, yeah, I got the whole breakdown from all the locals of different things where the time I was, when I was there last week, like the sun rises at 5 a.m. and goes down at like 10 p.m.
Wow.
But then they told me there's like a period of time where like the sun will be out till 3 a.m. And then there's another period of time where you get 4 whole hours of sunlight. But that's in southern Alaska. Now, northern Alaska is supposed to be like a whole nother ball of wax, where that's where you get the 6 months of daylight, 6 months of darkness. And the thing I really want to go up there is for the northern lights with the Aurora Borealis. I really want to see that, man. That's like another bucket list thing. So, now that I got a little bit of taste of Alaska, I definitely want to plan out like a full trip and just, start at the top and work my way down, from
for sure.
But, I was given all the pointers of like how to go see Alaska. So that's kind of like maybe what I'll save towards and work towards to bring, me and Mrs. Meany up there and get to see the land. We were like 30 miles. The second day, we're like 30 miles from the point where you allegedly could see Russia from Alaska. The whole.
I can see Russia from my house.
You betcha.
You betcha.
Yeah.
Glad she's gone. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Whatchamacallit? Yeah, we were supposedly close to that, and I was like tempting, but I was like, nah, we gotta get to the show, man.
So how was the show? Did you have a good time? I know you wrestled Mr. Friend of the show, Matt Cardona,
and Brian Myers.
the current GCW world's heavyweight champion.
Have you seen the new GCW title belt that he?
It's got a spinner on it, and it's got the purple Velcro. Dude, people are gonna shit their pants. Holy shit! Talk about heel moves, brother.
Oh man!
Good God, man! Talk about heat.
That's beautiful. That's heat.
Oh my God, man! And what's great about him is that he could just you can tell, not just that he's having a blast doing it, but he knows what the fuck he's doing. Just digging in the whole time, man. That's fucking great. Yeah, I thought that belt was amazing.
That's the best thing about what he's doing. He's embracing it. Some people shy away from that, and he's like nope. And dude, I was we were working with each other and. Man, some of those wounds still look pretty fresh, from the death match and stuff like that.
Good Lord. Those are some deep cuts, man.
Dude, I wanted to take a selfie with them and stuff like that. I was like, dude. But I was Cardona and Myers. It was the first night. It was Cardona, Myers, and VSK. First, myself, Nova, and Jay Lethal, aka Black Machismo, who reprised his. Tribute to Randy Macho Man Savage.
That's great.
As an honorary member of the BWO. And the best part was they do their entrance. We come make our entrance and we introduce Jay Lethal, Black Machismo. And there's a point where Nova's starting off the match and me and Lethal are on the apron. And he just starts busting out laughing. I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I forgot to take my sunglasses off." I was like, "Well, now you got to keep them on, brother." And, he tags in, and either Cardona or Myers are like, "Ref, he still has his sunglasses on." He goes, "They're prescription lenses, brother." And it's just, oh my God, Jay Lethal is so brilliant, man. He's
that's amazing.
And I fed him a lot. He goes up to Brian Myers. He kept calling Brian Myers Ricky Steamboat. Listen here, Steamboat. And he's like, I'm Brian Myers. I'm not Ricky Steamboat. You got lust in your eyes. Just all that kind of shit. They're just popping us. I'm like on the aprons, trying to, keep it. Well, I'm a little bit goofy as it is. So sometimes, people just think I'm in character anyway. But I was legit having a good belly laugh on the apron. But yeah, the match went great. It was cool to work with those guys. It's always good to get to work guys you've seen from afar and you've been around and know, but then actually get in the ring and share a match with them, have a match with them, and have a couple cool moments with them. That's always really cool. So that was a lot of fun.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad you had a good time. What else did you get into while you're up there in Alaska? Anything unique? Anything fun that you got yourself involved with?
I wish we could have done a little bit more sightseeing, but we went. I had my first encounter with reindeer sausage.
Interesting. Tell me about that.
So, flying out to Alaska, cheeseburger, the world famous CB cheeseburger. I was on my flight. He's like, "Man, I can't wait to go out there and have reindeer sausage." I was like, "Fucking reindeer sausage." He's like, "Yeah, there's this place out there called Gwenny's, and they serve reindeer sausage." I'm like, I'm all about that. I love deer meat, whatever, and stuff like that. So the second day, we get up and go to late lunch or late breakfast, early lunch, or whatever you want to call it, brunch, as some people call it. And we sought out Gwenny's, which I guess is Alaskan Denny's, maybe. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's like just like a little diner joint that's really cool. And I had the reindeer sausage and eggs with eggs over easy and some home fries with the. I always get onions put in there, but yeah, it was pretty good. It was a little gamey. If you ever had like deer meat, deer chili. But it was pretty good. Then I found a local place that like sells the reindeer sausage, but it was like already like cooked, kind of like a kielbasa, where it's kind of like shelf stable and stuff like that. So
right,
brought some of that home. Brought home some salmon jerky and the try and stuff like that. But yeah, it was definitely interesting. So then, one of the crazy things, we fly in, get in at 1:30, you sleep, and then you have the show, and then the next day, you're going to have a show, and then basically go straight to the airport from the show and fly home. Which
wow,
yeah, that
must be
what's that?
Crazy. I said that must be crazy to have to go. So let me make sure I understand. So you get done, like, let's just say you're wrestling, I don't know, you're the main event, right? So you wrestle at 9:30 Alaska time.
Well, fortunately, they put us on like second, so we can have plenty.
Oh, good.
Yeah. They were smart about it. So they were, you go and you drive 45 minutes away from Anchorage, where the town you're flying out of. You're on second, or no, actually third. And,
okay.
It was myself and Nova against the Amazing Graysons, two great kids, two great up and comers, as they say. Had a really fun match, but as soon as you get in the back, you do your thank you, and just do a quick little sink bath and change the gear and off to the airport. And you're rushing off to the airport to. Hopefully catch your flight home, because if you miss that flight, you're screwed.
Yeah, especially from Alaska. I mean, for fuck's sake. So you fly out of Alaska. Where's your first stop on the way home?
Just reverse the trip back to Salt Lake and then Salt Lake to Philly, and which you're leaving there at like 11:30 their time, getting home at like 4:30 in the afternoon in the States, and it's like. I was thankful that I was able to get back at 4:30 and still have somewhat of a day,
Well, right. You have a little bit of time to get home from the airport and get settled. I mean, how bad? So what's the time difference up there?
They are 4 hours behind us. They have
interesting.
Instead of like 3 hour difference, they have a whole nother time zone. So that was interesting to be 4 hours behind, Philly time. So,
yeah.
And you're always trying to do that travel math in your head. You're like, well, I want to call home, but
yeah,
you get done and you're like, oh well, it's 4:00 in the morning back home. I probably shouldn't call.
Right. It's like the first time I went to Vegas, like, and even in California, you're there, and it's like, wow, great. I should like always be on like Pacific time, like always be 3 hours behind. This is fucking great. And then you get home, you're like, oh my God, kill me now. Like I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this shit.
Brother,
it's awful.
Brother, I was there for 2 days and I'm still just like feeling it. It's like, traveling east to west is always great, cause you're going with the time change and you're still saving some time. But, you leave at like 9 a.m. Well, in this case, we're leaving, Anchorage at 11, which is 3 a.m. Philly time, and then like you have a 4 hour layover, and which yay, and then you get on the next flight, and you try to sleep, you can't sleep. You go to nod off, and you feel your head dipping, so you jerk right back up awake. So you get home, you're no, I didn't even get much sleep when I was out there. I had like maybe 4 hours sleep each night, just the first initial night, and then after the first show, a couple hours sleep, because it was just so hard to go down, go to sleep.
Yeah.
So you're trying to, sleep on the flight. You're like, oh, I could sleep, the first 4 hours. No. So you got home to Philly, and then you're waiting for, just your bags, and you're waiting for, the ride home, and just even as short as the trip was, I'm still kind of feeling it, and just like, and then you're breathing in that recycled air, and you're in air conditioning the whole time, and it's just like, I feel like I was in a dusty closet for like a couple. Like my whole nose is just like clogged. I got this whole head thing going on where it's like a dusty closet feel. Like it's like this thing I always get at the end of the summer. When it goes from really hot to really cold, and your body's like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, it just hits the skids right away.
Oh yeah.
Now, 2 questions for you. As far as travel questions, because it is the mind of the meanie. So I want to pick your brain on these 2 questions. Is there anything worse than falling asleep in an airplane seat?
Oh, I thought there's more to that question.
No, because I fucking hate it. I just want to know what your thoughts are. I hate falling asleep in an airplane.
I mean, they give you a whole 1.5 inches to recline. So I mean, how can you not want to fall asleep?
How generous of them.
And
ample foot room.
You know what the biggest fucking scam is? They pay you to do this comfort upgrade. They want you to pay $89, and it's just like the first couple seats behind first class that are the exact same dimensions as the other seats. Still same amount of leg room. It's just you're closer to the front of the plane. And it's the biggest fucking comfort. Scam. No, it's not comfort at all. The whole thing's not comfortable.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, yeah, I have to give a little shout out to world famous CB, Mr. Cheeseburger, because we both flew from Philly to Salt Lake, and he traveled a lot, and he uses that airline. I don't want to put him over unless they want to sponsor us, but he has a lot of miles, and he got upgraded for the second part. I was like, first class. To his credit, I don't know if he was ribbing, maybe because he's seen Meanie Tunes or something, but he offered me his first class seat.
Wow.
And I declined because I was like, you know what, man? You earned those miles. Enjoy first class. I'll go back here with the rest of the common folk,
the plebeians. Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Sean Jones, he says, I sleep like a baby on planes. Take your neck pillow and reverse it so the comfy part is under your chin. You won't do the nod and jerk that way. Dude, I have tried every fucking way to get comfortable on a plane with a neck pillow, with my sweatshirt. I sleep ball that shit up.
I sleep like a baby. I sleep like a baby on the plane too. I just scream and shit my pants the whole time.
Just loud, violent diarrhea, just power shitting in my pants the whole. Yeah, dude, totally. No, I can't fucking imagine any way in any scenario where I'm going to be comfortable on a plane to sleep. Like by the time I get home too, like, coming home from West Coast time, I'm like, you get the shakes a little bit because you're like, adrenaline's going and you're prepping yourself to get ready. But I guess that's question number 2 is, what is worse, going from like West Coast time to East Coast time, or like flying over to London? And because that's like later than us, right? Like you lose time when you fly over there. So then coming back, like what's worse in that regard? Because I've never flown over the Atlantic before, so I don't have that experience.
I like flying to London just because usually it's a red eye, so you're leaving at night. If you sleep, good. If you don't, the trick to flying overseas is once you land, don't go to sleep, don't do anything, stay awake. So when the time comes around for, the time all the folks overseas go to sleep, like whenever your bedtime is at home, it becomes over there. Go to sleep at that time. Like if you fall asleep in America at 9 p.m., wait till 9 p.m. in London, they go to sleep. And that's how you catch up on your normal sleep cycle. That's the trick. So I that's what I love about going overseas, because you go there and then you're coming home, and like say you leave 9 a.m. to London to fly back to Philly. Say you're doing direct Manchester or London to Philly. if you leave at 9 a.m., you might land at 11 a.m., which is kind of cool. You know, you still have a full day ahead of you, even though you were just in the giant germ tube for like 6 hours. You know, so
I feel like it's objectively worse though. Like during this, as every email I've ever fucking written in the past like 18 months is in these uncertain times. There's one phrase I can't wait to fucking retire and never hear again for the rest of my life, as somebody referred to things as these uncertain times. But I don't think there's anything worse than being in an enclosed space anywhere right now at this point. Like I was an avid SEPTA rider. You know, when I was back in Coatesville going to the city, I took the train every day. I took the R5 and I would take it from my house to the city. Went every day. Fuck driving, man. No way. And then once COVID, I remember the exact day that it happened, right? It was probably like a week after the pandemic like actually broke out. Yeah. I'm sitting on the train. I'm in like a totally empty car and I hear somebody coughing behind me. And I mean, it wasn't like a normal cough. Nothing was coming up. It was a dry, evil cough. And I said to my wife, I said to Courtney, I was like, babe, you got to come pick me up from the city today. I'm getting off at the nearest stop and I'm not getting back on this train. And for 18 months, I haven't been back on the train. But,
so you pretty much been in Pittsburgh just for the pandemic?
So we've been here. So we moved out here in October of last year. Wow. We've been here since October of 2020. Before that, we were in Coatesville at our old house. We were there from March to October. The plan was to stay here and eventually actually move out west. We wanted to go to California, but with some challenges with my middle son and some of his special needs. And then obviously the pregnancy that just kind of popped up on us. Now we're like, well, we don't have any family. You know, her brother lives in upstate, like northern Jersey. My brother lives in Quakertown, and we want to be close to them and have a support network. So yeah, we're gonna be back. But moving during a pandemic was not as crazy as you would imagine it being. But traveling was not a delight. So I'm glad to hear everything went well in Alaska though, and that the trip was great.
I definitely gotta get back up there and see like the whole thing. Apparently, there's a train ride they do like during the winter that's supposed to be like breathtaking. Like the scenery is like amazing. There's a town in northern Alaska called North Pole, and they have a real guy. They have a guy whose real name is Santa Claus. Who's crazy Santa Claus. So the trick is, from what I've been told by the locals, the folks who live there, is the best plan is to fly into Fairbanks and then, work your way down towards, Anchorage. It's to stop at all the stops. Because I think from south to north, it's like 8 hours. You could do the whole top to bottom in like 8 hours. So
holy shit!
And I keep wanting to call it a country. It's just, I know it's a state, but I keep wanting to call it. I keep thinking as like a totally different country, but. Because, the people are, like, really kind and really polite up there, and it's really beautiful. And, look, I've driven through states that have mountains, and then there's, like, these mountains in Alaska, which are just gorgeous. But, yeah, I definitely need to get back up there. I want to get the full Alaskan experience, which sounds like something out of Dirty Dictionary. But, I definitely got to get back up there.
Yeah, that's definitely a trip I want to take at some point in my life. I know that I would. Yeah, for sure, absolutely. I haven't been. Obviously been to the West Coast, but never up there. So definitely a place to go. I'm glad you had a great time. I know Al Snow is waiting for us in the green room, yes. So I want to make sure we get to him today. I know it's extremely important that we make sure we do that.
We should not be tardy with this.
No, we shouldn't be, because Al Snow deserves a spot to talk here, and I think today should be the day. So I'm
sure he's been to Alaska.
I would imagine so. Yeah, he's probably been all over the place. I would imagine so. But before we get to that, I want to make sure we get to right now. We're going to get to Ask Meanie.
Oh, it's time to ask Meanie anything. Ask me something.
So let's get our seltzers ready if we have anything today.
Yes.
I have my generic black cherry shit here from the vending machine down the hallway, which I will certainly miss when I'm not here anymore.
I got the ugly watermelon smash. Sorry, watermelon smash. So
you got the Gallagher special there.
yes, sir.
Well done.
So let's give her a ride. I'm going to Sandman it.
There we go.
3, 2, 1.
Yes. Hell yes. All right, let's ask Minnie. Pinkies up. Y'all might get a nice kiss from the seltzer today.
Oh, my God.
All right. Let's go. It's so delicious. This shit is fucking good, man. This is incredible stuff. And for generic black cherry stuff, it's really quite amazing.
Again, again, before we get to that, you said you got your seltzer from the vending machine down the hall. And again, my mind goes back to George Carlin, who talks about the staying at the Sleep Fuck Motel. That has the vending Sleep and fuck.
Yeah. Sleep and fuck.
And they had the vending machine full of Diet Orange Shasta that nobody wants.
Dude, as soon as you said I want to talk about Carlin, the first thing in my head was the Diet Shasta Orange that nobody wants. Literally, that's what played in my head. Yeah. Sleep and fuck. My favorite thing to post when I'm having a really shitty Wednesday, though, is when he talks about TGI Fridays. You know, I want to make a restaurant called HSIOW. Holy shit, it's only Wednesday.
Yes.
You sell a lot more beer, a lot more booze if people thought it was Wednesday all the time.
Yes.
If you've never listened to that album, go ahead and check it out. I think that's on the You Are All Diseased record, which is like right before 9/11, which is just timeless stuff. So go ahead and take a listen to that. But Vanessa Bello, friend of the show,
wants
Vanessa? To ask Meanie. Meanie had mentioned recently that wrestling in Alaska was a bucket list item that he checked off. Are there any other states that Meanie has yet to wrestle in?
Ooh, yeah. You know, when I was up in Alaska, I was telling people, I was thanking them profusely. Thanks for this opportunity, this bucket list moment. They're like, well, how many, more states you got to go? And I had to sit there and do the math. I'm thinking maybe I have like maybe 4 left. And that might be like North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming. I've been through Utah. I've been through Iowa. Interesting enough, I drove through. Me and Al were driving through. Well, and I should bring him on. He's in the green room. Let him finish the spinach dip.
I was going to say you let him finish all the spinach artichoke dip that was gracefully supplied from the Applebee's down the road.
Yeah,
we'll let him finish all that, and then you can tell this part, and then we can ask him afterwards. It's fine.
But we stopped in I want to say Ames, Iowa, or something like that, and there was a sign explicitly telling people not to bring their game into their hotel room. Like, if you killed a deer, please don't bring it into your hotel. Yeah, it was explicitly written that you should not bring your dead deer that you just shot into your hotel room. So I was like,
what a weird world they live in when you have to like write that out for people. You know,
that's the thing about weird law. That's the weird thing about weird laws is they had to write it for a reason, right? It's not just like,
right.
I'm bored. What kind of law can we pass? No. Somebody actually did that. And then somebody had to go, you know what? To prevent that from happening again, let's fucking pass a law. So, Vanessa asked if you had been to Hawaii as well. Yes. In like 2001, 2002, there's a wrestling trip. I went to Hilo, Hawaii, where I want to say the Kilauea volcano is, and we got to go there. That promotion was great. I was there with it was me and Rey Mysterio. Were the names that they brought in, and they took us around. They took us to like a macadamian farm, and we got to see all the sites. We got to see the hot springs that basically just smelled like farts. And
so you felt right at home, right?
Yeah.
Did you leave some essence of Meanie there as well?
Yeah, fucking amateurs,
Don't hold a candle to me, pal.
Yeah, King Kong ain't got nothing on me.
23-hour-a-day lockdown. Pelican Bay. I'm sorry. I went Denzel for a second. I apologize. I get lost in training day, and I don't know. I black out a little bit. I don't know what happens. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, man. But no, it's kind of like baseball.
Right.
It's like you could hit a single, you hit a double, you could hit a home run, but that triple's really fucking hard to get. And Hawaii felt like a triple in baseball, and I guess Alaska was the home run, but I guess because it's mainland, you could technically drive there if you want, if you're a fucking maniac. Which I actually mapped out. I was like, dude, what if something happens up there and I'm stuck in Alaska? Can I drive it? And I looked, I was like, I did Anchorage to South Philly driving directions. It's like 2 days worth of driving. I was like,
and that's without stops, man. Because you got to eat. You got to eat at every Roy Rogers on the way home, which is the only fucking thing anywhere. Sleep fuck. Yeah, dude. That's awesome, man. Again, Hawaii would be somewhere I would like to go as well. I know that when my wife and I got married, we had like a stack of cash on the table. I felt like we had just like sold a bunch of drugs or something, and we had this like giant pile of money. And we're like, well, where are we gonna go? We're living in an apartment. We don't have any kids yet. We're just gonna do something.
Yeah.
So we planned out a trip. We were going to go to California, and then we were going to go over to Hawaii. And then at the last minute, she was like, wait, let's go north. We can spend just as much money going up north for like half the travel. So we ended up going to like Boston, Hyannisport up there, which was great. But like we didn't, we would have loved to have gone to Hawaii. But it sounds like you have everything. Hopefully, when next time I told Eric, friend of the show, Eric Bischoff, that I was going to come up and have a cup of coffee with him in Cody, Wyoming. So we'll have the three of us will have to get together and go see them since he is
might be another one of the states I haven't been to is Wyoming. I don't know if
you know what?
I don't know if I said that before, but definitely got to go.
You and I are going to plan it out. And we'll go get coffee with Eric, and we will live feed it. Friend of both Mind of the Meanie and Foundation Radio, Ringside Rant asks, if you could time travel to the 1980s and bring back two wrestlers, who would you bring back and why?
That's a great question.
That is a great question.
Man, definitely Gino Hernandez, right?
Yeah,
because
that feels like a given.
I would love to have seen him, in modern day. I want to see him play out his role and see how he would do in the role of as a world champion. I think he could definitely have been a world champion at some point. But then again, you hear Bruce Pritchard talk about, how he was happy just being in Houston and flying in and out on his Lear jet, so to speak. And the other one would be Bruiser Brody. Imagine Bruiser. I mean, I know we're talking about bringing it back to modern day, but I would have loved to have seen if he had not been murdered, Bruiser Brody definitely would have been in ECW.
For sure.
And then
I feel like Bruce.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, imagine Bruiser Brody, Cactus Jack, Bruiser Brody, Hulk Hogan. Because
I was just gonna say Bruiser Brody would have been an incredible fucking heel. Like imagine when you think about that time frame with Hulk Hogan in the 90s, right? Yeah. Late 80s, early 90s. Yeah. You're talking about he's already squashed Andre the Giant. He's already gone over on King Kong Bundy. He's done programs with Boss Man and Earthquake. Bruiser Brody feels like a perfect fucking heel for Hulk Hogan, Oh my God, man, what an incredible match that would have been
for that era. That would have been a fantastic.
Yeah. And he would have definitely. He was like an innovator. He definitely would have been like a shoe-in for ECW. I can't even would have been perfect fit.
Yeah, I mean, ECW had Abdullah. They had the original Sheik. Bruiser Brody would have been a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely, man. He would have been an incredible one. So we're going to go with Gino Hernandez and Bruiser Brody to answer that question.
Off, but those are the first two that popped in my head. If you asked me tomorrow, I might have said somebody totally different. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think the other one that I feel like possibly for me, in the vein of like a Bruiser Brody, like bringing him back to see what he could have done or stop something, would have been Magnum TA. Because I feel like could have been. I feel like just watching him and knowing the background about him and that what happened was is a tragic accident. But shit, I mean, he could have been Hulk Hogan. Imagine him going from NWA over to WWF. I mean, I feel like he had the look, he had the talk, he had the charisma. He could have easily been a WWF champion in the late 80s, early 90s, had nothing gone awry. But what do you think?
Dude, and there's talk that he was, being positioned to be the next NWA World Champion, but
right,
me being the Philadelphia sports loyalist, it wasn't until recently that I kind of like put two things together that kind of happened close to each other and kind of mirrored each other. Around the time Magnum TA had his tragic accident where his Porsche hydroplaned and he hit a phone pole and basically, broke it, hit the top of his head, almost, died. Around that same time, Pelle Lindbergh of the Philadelphia Flyers also crashed his Porsche in Jersey.
Really?
And there's like that thing of what if, what if they both hadn't been driving Porsches? What if they both hadn't had accidents? Magnum TA would have been, he's being positioned for the NWA title, and Pelle Lindbergh was probably one of the best up and coming goalies in hockey. He was a disciple of Bernie Parent, who was another one of Philadelphia's legendary goalies. And imagine what the Flyers could have done had Pelle Lindbergh not died. They probably would have won at least one more Stanley Cup, maybe two. Just two careers cut short in very similar ways. And of course, I'm viewing it from the eyes of a Philly sports fan. But they were
right.
I think they were both the same model Porsches that they crashed. Oh my God. And just to see see them, their careers cut so short. I would have loved to have seen what time travel. If there was some way to smarten Magnum up to say, hey,
just be careful,
take a different route, please, or but it's one of those things, man. What if, man? It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, man. I wish things had been different for all three of those guys. But Connor is asking the hard-hitting questions here for you, Blue Meanie. Who has the better flagship burger, McDonald's or Burger King?
I have to choose between those two?
Yeah.
Man, it's weird. I used to think Burger King was good back in the day. Man, I would have to go with McDonald's. Like in the 90s, I was a Burger King guy, but then something went awry with them that I just totally didn't like them anymore. I would always go to Burger King and get a burger and then go through the McDonald's drive-thru and get their fries.
Yep, that's the way to do it, man. That's the only way to do it.
And then you put the fries on the burger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Hell yes, dude. Yeah, I'm a Big Mac guy. I always have been. I enjoy when I go to Burger King. I'll get the chicken sandwich, the original one, like the long one. Fucking that's amazing. That's usually my sandwich of choice when I go there. But as far as best burger of the chains, which one would you say?
One that I don't think gets much love, but fucking anytime I'm in California, I go to Carl's Jr.
Yeah.
Carl's Jr. is fucking amazing. And
dude.
Anytime I've been and they always do the healthy option where you get rid of the bun and they wrap the burger in a thing of lettuce and you just pick up the burger and the lettuce and use the lettuce as the bun.
No shit.
But Carl's Jr. is a sister company of Hardee's, which is out here, but I don't think they have. The Carl's Jr., it's called the $6 burger because you're getting a restaurant burger quality at a chain store price, or whatever the fuck they say.
Yeah.
I like Carl's Jr. Kewpie in Lima, Ohio, one of the oldest burger chains in North America.
Wow.
They're great. I was misunderstood. I've told the story where I used to tell the story and it turned out to be a mashup. I used to say Dave Thomas owned a Kewpies, and him and Dave Thomas and the owner of Kewpies were partners, and they had to split up. But it turned out Dave Thomas used to eat Kewpies as a kid, and he liked Kewpies so much that when he went to open up his own burger joint, Wendy's is inspired by Kewpies. So if you go to a Kewpies in Ohio, which is I think it's only in like 2 cities in Ohio, Lima and maybe one other city, you're basically getting a fresher Wendy's. So like when we all, me, Mrs. Meany, and Gertner drove out to the first StarCast in Chicago, I went like 2 hours out of my way to stop in Lima, to see the old school where I used to go to see the building, which was right around the corner from the Kewpies, and mainly to go see the Kewpies and take a photo outside my old gym where I trained to become a professional wrestler. So, because I'm sappy like that. But yeah, definitely a great burger, man. Same menu. It's just fresher ingredients.
See, I'm an In-N-Out guy, man. It's like the first place I go to when I'm in California or I'm in Vegas, dude. I'm getting in a car or someone's going to drive me and I'm going to get me some In-N-Out.
Oh, yeah.
If you go to In-N-Out, if you've never been there, the only way to order a burger at In-N-Out is you get a double animal style.
Yeah.
You murdered those burgers, man.
Oh,
just
God,
fucking incredible stuff, man. It just, this was the first time I got to enjoy it with my kids when we were out there this past time. And we got the animal style fries and, oh God, I miss that place, man. I can't, it's one of the reasons I wanted to move to California is to be able to eat there at least like once a month for like my cheat meals, like just go crazy. But yeah, go ahead.
No, there was like this thing that happened a couple of years ago where somebody found an In-N-Out burger, and I want to say in Brooklyn, New York, somewhere, like a perfectly intact In-N-Out burger, but there's no In-N-Out burger there.
No shit.
I don't know if I'm mixing it up with a different burger chain, but like it was like this big mystery of
wow,
why is there an In-N-Out burger in Brooklyn or something like that? It's something goofy. I don't know.
So I know Carrie Getz is a friend through an acquaintance through some mutual friends, and he paid someone to ship out a box of In-N-Out burgers and some Del Tacos. And I had never eaten Del Taco until I went out there across the street from the hotel we were staying at. They had a Del Taco. I was like, I saw Getz eat them. I'm going to try them. Man, dude. Man, they were good.
Yeah.
Not like obviously the best tacos you're going to go to a street vendor or a cart or something like that. But, Del Taco, it's pretty fucking good. I was kind of impressed.
Dude, a good place out in Santa Monica. I don't know if it's a national chain or it's just there. But there's a place in Santa Monica called Wahoo's. That's amazing. They have amazing fish tacos. So if you're ever out in that area, go to Wahoo. I think, again, I don't want to get this wrong, but I believe Tony Hawk's like a part owner in the franchise. So, but definitely check out Wahoo's for some great fish tacos.
I'll have to get the name of it. I wish I had it on offhand, but we stopped at a taco joint while we were there, and they had a Lucha Libre wrestler on one of the walls, which is why we stopped there. I was like, babe, we got to go here, But they had really good stuff, man. I typically, when I get tacos anywhere, I'll do the fish tacos, but yeah, fucking phenomenal. I'll get the name and I'll share it with the pod squad here.
Word.
Mango Strength asked, hypothetically,
What up?
If given the choice, jelly or syrup? Given the choice for what, my friend? I don't. You know what, Meanie? I'm going to let you go ahead and wax poetic on that one. You can go ahead and extrapolate that.
Nah, I'm not even going to touch that.
Mark in Dryden wants to know: was Meanie ever in a match where something went south and either himself or his opponent got super pissed off? And I believe this has to do with the recent chatter online about Nia Jax and Charlotte Flair. So I'd be curious to know your answer to Mark's question, and then also if you had any thoughts on that particular match.
Not me per se, but I was, when I first broke in, I was a tag partner with a guy named Sick Rick Matrix, and who I believe still wrestles today out in the Michigan area. But he was wrestling a local guy. It was a show in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. And Rick Matrix was wrestling Ray the Crippler Roberts, another guy who I have so many stories on. But Ferrari, the guy was like super over. But if you looked at him, you're like, all right. But for whatever reason, he was super over. So Rick and Ray Roberts were doing this street fight match. And I was the corner man for Rick. I was going to help run interference on the match and stuff like that. So the match is brawling all over the place, and there's just one wrestler who was on the show, and I don't even know why he was out there, but like he interjected himself into the match that he wasn't supposed to be a part of the match. Like he got a little handsy with me. It's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck out of here. You're not fucking. And like, it got to the point where like it's like one of the few times I've lost my cool in the locker room, and we got to the locker room and I launched a fucking trash can at him. I was like, what the fuck were you fucking doing? Just
wow.
Like it was Rick and Ray having a match. I'm the corner man running interference, helping them cheat, right?
Right.
Even though it's a street fight match, there's really no cheating, but like I'm, stacking the odds.
Yeah.
And this guy decided to interject himself in the match. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck out of here.
Jesus.
So, yeah, it got to the point where I got to the back and I was like, you motherfucker, and just launched the fucking... It was like a New Jack entrance. I picked up a trash can and launched it at him, and he just grabbed his shit and left. And
wow.
And it's not even worth mentioning that guy's name because I doubt he wrestled another year. But
nah, don't even give him the airtime.
I'd never heard of him before or since. But
wow.
But on the Nia and Charlotte thing, I want to say it looked like a work. I mean, I want to say it looked like a shoot, but then who knows?
Yeah.
I until they officially say what it was, you can assume it was a shoot, or it could have just been a series of communication. Because if it was a shoot, they continued to cooperate after the part where the shoot happened, and they start doing working things. So I don't know, maybe again, I don't know this for a fact, but it could have been just something done to create buzz. Because, like, again, WWE is all about buzz, right?
Right.
And then I've most recently, Danny Doring and C.W. Anderson had a little back and forth going. We were the original Nia and Charlotte Flair working a shoot during a match to where the fans thought it was a shoot, and they even worked the referee to where it was a shoot. So
wow,
it's not uncommon for two guys to just want to have some shits and giggles and doing Andy Kaufman and work a shoot during the match, and even fool the fucking ref and the locker room, so to speak. But they're
That's wild.
in on the gimmick.
It's I was gonna say it's not there. They might have been throwing some shoot punches there or some live rounds, but it certainly wasn't an APA Public Enemy style where they just...
I was there for that.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, I saw that one coming. That was
Adam from Downingtown wants to know what Meanie thought about the backstage that was going on with Public Enemy and the APA.
That was just that was in Pittsburgh. And,
wow.
And either Grunge or Johnny, Grunge or Rocco, kept trying to change stuff up in the match, like all the way up until when they're up in the gorilla position. And the APA just figured they'd had enough. They were like, hey, we're going to do the match that we planned. And that's what the office wants. That's the way it is. And, the monitor was sold out. A lot of the boys had heard the chatter, leading up to that and watched it. And to Grunge and Rocco's credit, when they came back through the curtain, they were just like, hey, guys, thank you for the match. You would think, you see something like that and you're like, man, they had to be, and Rocco's like, man, what are they all worried about? We used to do that shit all the time in ECW with tables and all that stuff. And they didn't, they either no sold it or they were genuinely, they were either pissed and no sold it or genuinely didn't mind,
Wow.
But, that was kind of brutal, Yeah.
More than brutal, man. I remember watching that shit and being like, oh my, like this, you get to a certain point in a match, like the Perry Saturn incident, like when he clocked that one guy. That was Mike Bell. That's his name. Yeah. You watch that and you're like, you watch those live rounds. And then after a second or two, it registers. You're like, oh wait, this is serious shit. And that's how I felt with that match of the Acolytes and Public Enemy. Watching that, you're like, you can see there's almost like a certain, whatever it is, like you're watching, you're like, wait a second, something's gone really, really wrong here. Something's wrong, and you're like, holy shit, man.
And Ron Simmons is a
what did Ron Simmons and and Bradshaw do when they came back? Did they say anything or did they just go right?
No, they just all slapped hands. Hey, thank you. All right.
Wow.
And like I said, if you're going to go through something like that, you either come back and no sell it, because if you sell it for it, you're just going to ask for another, ask for a repeat performance. That's one thing when you go to a new locker room and people are kind of testing you. They're testing to see how you react. Sometimes the best sell is the no sell. you know?
Yeah.
And
You're not wrong, man.
you know, you take it and, you know, hey, thanks for the great match. But Bubba, if tells a story where they sent the Acolytes in to test the Dudleys, and they
right,
yeah, and they fucking went at it, and then Bubba and Devon came back and said, "Hey man, thanks for the match," with big smiles, and they're like, "All right, these guys are good." So, but I guess Rocco and Johnny had just heat from trying to switch up things that. Constantly trying to switch things up all the way up until they got to the gorilla position. Hey, how about we do this? No, we're just going to do the match we play.
The way it's laid out.
Yeah, and, the rest is history,
Man, that's wild shit.
Yeah.
R.A. Davis, do you have, or do you still rather have, the NWA World Light Heavyweight Championship that was retired after you won it, or did you have to return the belt?
Yeah, I returned the belt, even though I tried to keep it.
That's the only way you do it, right? You gotta.
I was like, I can take this home for a little bit, right? And I had it for a while, and then they were like, "Oh, Meanie still has it." Like maybe 6 months later, hey, Corlo's like, "Hey, dude, can I get the belt back?" Okay, Dennis, you can have the belt back. So that was enough. In my career, I've been fortunate enough to win a light heavyweight title, win a Mexican heavyweight championship, and I was a women's champion. So
nice. Little Andy Kaufman there. There you go. I love it.
Yes.
Mark and Dryden also asked a question for both of us. She's asking Meanie and Adam here. Name a song that people would be surprised that you like. Oh. Two of mine are Jackie Blue and Captain of Her Heart by the band Double.
Oh, my God.
That's a good question, man.
I'm trying to get the name right. Baker Street?
Yeah, Baker Street.
Jerry Rafferty.
That one.
And the Foo Fighters went on doing a fantastic cover of it. But I always liked Baker Street because when I was a kid, in the 80s and being down the shore, we would get like New York channels, and like the mid-afternoon movie, that was the theme song to you're watching the Channel 11 mid-afternoon movie, and they were playing Baker Street, that horn, because it's got that horn section, and they're playing that. I was like, man, that's a great song. And then I became a fan of the Art Bell show, and Jerry Rafferty was in heavy rotation with Art Bell's bumper music, And then, I figured out it was Jerry Rafferty from the band Steeler Wheels, who also did Stuck in the Middle with You. And he was in that band as well. So Jerry Rafferty, very underrated talent. But what was the question? Was it like two songs or one song? Or?
Yes, a song or two that people would be surprised that you like.
Oh my God. And sometimes opera gets me in the feels. I'm trying to think of the song. I couldn't pronounce it if I wanted, but the movie, oh my God, what's it? Kevin Costner and Robert De Niro is The Untouchables.
Yeah.
When De Niro is Al Capone's at the opera, and the clown is on stage singing the opera while they're trying to whack Sean Connery. But that music, any kind of opera, when done right and then done with the powerful, just gets me. There was a video from Britain Has Talent or whatever, the UK version of America's Got Talent.
Yeah,
and there was this guy Paul Potts who was like a cell phone salesman in the UK, and they had him. They came out and they kind of had like they did the thing leading, where they showed a person leading up to the thing and the personality profile, and then he goes out there and sings, and you're just watching. I'm getting a little like emotional thinking about it. And you're watching the reaction that the judges react to this guy's powerful voice, and you're watching the crowd come to their feet as he's just belting this powerful opera. Yeah, again, I don't know names of songs or anything like that, but just certain pieces of opera when sung really powerful just get me.
Yeah. Yeah, there's certain types of music that'll like hit me right in the feels while I'm listening to it. One of the songs is, and I'll name my other two songs in a second, but one of the songs is "All of the Lights" by Kanye West. there's a breakdown and that like right at the end of the song when Alicia Keys starts singing, man, like I can feel it starting now. Like every single time once that starts, I don't know what it is about that record, but like I can feel the goosebumps starting on my arms when I think about that. It's like, I know a lot of people have opinions about Kanye West, and some of them are rightfully earned, and maybe some aren't. But I know that people, especially the recent choice he made on his album. But man, that song is absolutely fucking incredible. Just absolutely amazing. But one of my favorite songs actually of all time, which will probably surprise a lot of people, is a song called "If I Can't Have You" by Yvonne Elliman. It's a disco record that was actually originally written by "If I Can't Have You, I don't want nobody,
Dude,
baby." I love that song. It's amazing. It's incredible.
Disco. I love disco. It's crazy.
And it's people shit on disco, man. But the Bee Gees are the shit, dude. Those records, they bang, slap, and fuck. Well, so anybody who says that the Bee Gees suck can kick rocks. They're incredible, man. Dave
Grohl just came out and said, blew everybody's minds with saying the drums from "Smell Like Teen Spirit" are just disco beats.
Yeah, I watched that video. Yeah, he was like, I wasn't classically trained. I just stole it from a disco song. And I mean that fun story. That song, "If I Can't Have You," was actually written by and performed originally by the Bee Gees.
Yes.
And it was a cover that she did, which ended up becoming the most popular version of the song, similar to what happened with "All Along the Watchtower" by Hendrix, which is actually a Bob Dylan song, which most people don't know. But that's one of my favorite, actually could be in my top 3 favorite songs of all time. I could listen to that record all day. Have you seen the Bee Gees
documentary? Have you seen the Bee Gees documentary?
No, you know what? Someone has mentioned it to me, but I haven't actually seen it yet.
If you watch that Bee Gees documentary, you will be in awe of the Bee Gees. The amount of hits they not only wrote for themselves but for other people.
Yeah, they're just I really do. I think disco gets a really bad rap, and again, I know that's probably a controversial take, but like good music is good music, whether or not it's disco or Justin Bieber or any of those records that are like, you got it. Like if it's a hot record, like for me personally, if it's a hot record, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I'm gonna rock with this record because I am gonna enjoy whatever I want to enjoy. Right. Yeah. Singer 2, I guess that might surprise people. I don't know why it would, but because she's in that wheelhouse, is Aaliyah. I'm a huge Aaliyah fan. I think I'm so excited that her records are coming out onto like streaming platforms. Finally, 1 in a Million came out. I guess it was a couple weeks ago, and I basically backflipped in my kitchen. I was so excited to hear that record. But yeah, it's I love Aaliyah. I love anything that she did. I've been a big fan of her for a long time, and listening to that 1 in a Million record brought back a lot of memories of walking around the Oxford Valley Mall with my headphones on and my fucking Discman listening to that. It was just it's an incredible record. But so one last question here before we wrap up today's episode. Chef Carl wants to know, what's the strangest item you've ever been asked to autograph, and did you sign it?
Oh, I can't even remember. I'm sure I've done something goofy. Maybe a car or like part of a car or something like that. I don't know. A body part.
Not a samurai.
You always get
samurai sword.
You always get asked to sign a body part, and you're like, "Why? This is going to wash off." But I'm blanking on that one. I'm sure I've signed something really goofy, but it's not coming to me right now. My apologies.
You know what's coming to you right now is the part of the show where you tell everybody where they can find all of the great stuff about Mind of the Meanie online, sir.
You can. Well, if you're listening to Mind of the Meanie, you found it. So
you found it. So hey, thanks for coming, guys. We appreciate it. Yeah. We appreciate listening.
If you like Mind of the Meanie, tell a friend. If you hate it, tell an enemy. If you want to support the Mind of the Meanie, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Mind of the Meanie. We can find many wonderful T-shirts designed by our mad genius Andy Slichter, who makes a lot of our T-shirts. If you would like to support, our regular host, the real Josh.
Real dad. Yeah.
Real dad. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/So Says Sure Enough. If you would like to support the Blue Meanie, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Blue Meanie. Also, don't forget about Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand. Go to collarandelbowbrand.com. Use promo code Meanie and save 10%. You can also find me on Cameo. Go to cameo.com/Blue Meanie. BWO. I'm the same through all forms of social media. Go to Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Blue Meanie BWO. And how can people find you, sir?
Well, thank you, Mr. Blue Meanie. I appreciate that. You can listen to my my regular flagship host, or show rather. I'm the regular flagship host on my show. That was easy for me to say. Yeah. Foundation Radio can be found anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts, and you can find the archive over at foundationradio.net. Yes, Josh, I did try to get foundationradio.com, and somebody already fucking bought it, and I couldn't afford it, okay? So foundationradio.net is just going to have to do for right now. No, I'm just kidding. And then my socials, you can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at This Is Goober. It's the same place everywhere, and you can find the show's Twitter at FND Radio Pod. I'm also excited to see the new Adam Bernard merch go up on Mind of the Meanie. I know I have 2 shirts coming out, the Not Josh, and I'm an Adam Bernard guy. I'm very excited to see those. So go ahead and pick them up, and make sure you cop Stepdad appearances here. Blue Meanie, this is always a pleasure to do the show with you, my friend. I am glad I was able to fill in for Josh tonight. And oh shit, I forgot. What? Fucking Al Snow.
Oh, goddamn.
Is in a goddamn waiting room. Son of a bitch. Al, listen, man, I'm really sorry. I'm new here.
You know, he's going to stretch us. You know that. We're getting stretched.
Look, I'm new here, so we can just blame it on the fact that I'm new, and we'll hopefully, next time, Real Dad's back, we can get to him. I'm really sorry.
Oh my god. Oh dear.
I'll send. What I'll do is when the show is done, I'll go over to the Applebee's, and I'll pick up some more mozzarella sticks and some boneless wings to take to the green room and make sure he's got enough food there. Fuck, I can't believe I forgot again. But anyway, Meanie, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. I'm happy that you allowed me to help steer the ship again. And
thanks for being had.
I appreciate that. And I'm excited to see you at Icons of Wrestling in a couple of weeks, yes. September 18th.
Yeah, see us September 11th. September 11th. In Port Henry, New York for Brothers Gatter. Josh and I will be up there to do an in-store meet and greet, virtual signing, selling our wrestling buddies. Go to brothers.gatter.com. Thanks for the drawing in my memory. Also, if you want to support Mind and Meanie, go to manscaped.com. Use promo code Meanie20 to get free shipping and 20% off. So, got to take care of the sponsors there.
I was going to say, you want to make sure if you're going to any of these events, if you're coming to New York or you're coming to Icons of Wrestling, you want to make sure your balls are taken care of. So make sure you go to manscaped.com and use promo code Meanie20 and get 20% off of your order. And keep your balls feeling and looking good. Trust me, your significant other. Well, thank you. Blue Meanie, thank you so much. Thank you all for joining us today. Again, I am temporary tour guide and stepdaddy extraordinaire Adam Bernard. And this is the Blue Meanie, and we will see you again next week.
Bye.
Blue World Order. The world of MLW radio never stops.